Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen, this time with an all we know about the Hercules Starlifter, so far with the info that's been given with the Concierge Presale, the Around the Verse and RTV focusing on it. The Hercules Starlifter is manufactured by Crusader Industries and is primarily a military-grade transport ship that can haul vehicles from space to ground and vice versa. It's also sort of a cargo transporter, freighter. So the C2 is the civilian cargo freighter. It's $300 for war bond or 360 credit. The M2, the military spec version, is $400 war bond and also comes with a free Cyclone if you buy it on war bond, or is 480 credit in dollars. The A2 Hercules gunship is $600 war bond with a free Tumbrel Nova tank, or is also available for $700 credit. There is multi-pack versions as well, with all three being available for $1,300 as a war bond. That includes the Cyclone and the Nova with the original concept skins. It's also available for $1,540 credit. Both of the complete packs have lifetime insurance on all the contents. Other than those complete packs, the lifetime insurance is only available with the war bond versions of the ship. War bonds are purchased without using store credit, so typically they also give you a discount of around 10 to 20%, 20% we can see here. The Concierge Presale for the Hercules is on until the 11th of May, which is when it's going to be available to everyone. Buying during the pre-sale gives backers the Philanthropist badge for the forums. Please remember though that these ships will be available in-game with in-game money, and they are currently not scheduled on the roadmap, meaning the earliest and most likely time you'll get them is probably at the end of 2019. That's realistically when I would expect them to be flyable, but certainly not confirmed. If you do buy one, you'll get a loaner ship until it's ready, but I don't know what that ship is, or what ships, because it could be potentially multiple ships. One for the Persistent Universe and one to be used in Arena Commander. Though similar designs, these ships are true variants, so each of those three ships are entirely different hulls. Don't expect to be able to swap a module to change the C2 to an M2 to an A2. Let's talk more about the C2 commercial hauler. So the C2 is also known as the base variant. It's a commercial hauler. It can hold up to 624 SCU, which will be more than enough for 2 Nova tanks and some cargo. This is a little more than a Caterpillar can hold. It has 4 remote turrets, 2 on the neck and 2 on the back, and these are size 3 and 4 weapons. It's around 100 meters long and 70 meters wide, so it's the same length really as a Starfarer, but 1.5 times wide, and that C2 is suited to 2 crewmen. The M2 Military Dropship is the military version of the ship with more armour and an additional size 3 remote turret at the front under the nose. It also has less cargo space than the C2 at 468 SCU, which is about 20% less than a Caterpillar, but that's still enough room for the 2 Nova tanks, though it might not be able to have any room for cargo or much cargo after that. The M2 is suited to around 3 crewmen. The C2 and M2 can carry 2 Nova tanks each, or a mixture of smaller vehicles, or 1 Nova and a mixture of smaller vehicles. The A2, which we're about to talk about, can only fit a single Nova or smaller vehicles. So, the A2 is an assault gunship. This gunship has 2 size 4 pilot-controlled guns at the front, 3 size 3 and 2 size 4 turrets, as well as 2 size 5 turrets. Realistically, as these are all spread across the ship, each should have an operator, whether they are manned or remote turrets. You'll be able to control them either directly from the turret or remotely from a console. You lose half of the cargo space that the C2 has, so you have 234 SCU total with this A2 gunship, which is enough apparently to hold that Tumbrel Nova, but potentially nothing else. It's basically got 40% of the cargo capacity of a Caterpillar. The reason you get less cargo and vehicle space is because it has a bomb module that you can store 4 giant mother of all bombs in. I'm assuming that these are actually the biggest bombs in game, and that would make sense. However, they may put bigger ones in the future. These bombs are gravity assisted, so very useful when attacking the ground, much harder to use, if at all, in space. There are not plans for those being replaceable with torpedoes or missiles, but there is some form of modularity with it, and you can replace them with what was described as many smaller bomblets. The guns are spread across the ship on the A2, so it does really require multiple crewmen to operate them effectively, and some of those gun turrets are angled downwards for air-to-ground use. But obviously, if you position your ship in the correct area in space, you will be able to bring firepower down, especially, I suppose, on a larger target. Because of its bombing operations and the amount of turrets that it has, the A2 is suited to a massive 9 crew. Any currently announced ground vehicle in Star Citizen can fit in a Hercules, including an Aurora ship for those inclined to put spaceships inside it. The Hercules will have a very long operating range. It has fuel scoops and such. We know the ship has a flight deck and a cargo area with a lift, and a habitation area was mentioned, but I wouldn't expect to be able to use the ship for exploring. I wouldn't expect to have loads of beds or anything like that. Expect Spartan Interiors. All variants have a ramp on the front and rear, allowing a Nova-sized vehicle in or out at both ends. You can open the ship mid-flight or for landing. The Nova tank is able to be dropped from a height, so hopefully it will be able to do that without sustaining damage if you wanted to open the cargo bay up and drop Nova out of it. This also allows for the potential for you to have ships or snubs inside that can launch mid-travel as well. The Hercules has a powerful VTOL system for atmospheric flight and landing, and the ship doesn't just have to hold ground vehicles, it could hold a large amount of other ships, bikes, marines, ground troops. All of the variants can be used as an armoured dropship for a variety of purposes, as well as freight. So I'm probably going to grab a C2 for myself personally. That's the focused role for me for the Hercules. It's focused on transporting tanks and vehicles to planets. But I also envision these being used to transport racing ships and vehicles around for the scramble races in the future. The A2 just sounds like a good operating platform for racers and for little pirate operations and things like that as well. The A2 is far too expensive. I'll be grabbing one in-game for sure, but I'm certainly not going out of my way to buy one before that, not for $600+. One of the things this actually semi-confirms to me is planned large-scale ground battles and base defences. And we sort of knew that was going to be there already, but this is the implementation of some of that in a ship form. So the need to bring multiple vehicles in, so a vehicle that holds 2 tanks, the giant OP-sounding gunship that's the A2, those bombs have got to be used on something, as well as those ground-firing turrets that are around it, or at least ones that are pointing downwards. It just makes sense that they are really now planning for that ground combat already. The Hercules is an exciting ship for me, with a definite place in the verse. The A2 is a little too overpriced for my blood anyway. If they wanted to make it rarer in the verse, and that's the reason for it being expensive, then maybe they should have sold it for like 450, but as a limited availability, a limited number. We will find out a lot more about the ship next week when the full sale goes live, and with the FAQs that will become shortly after that. Obviously, some numbers might change for the ship between now and then, and obviously this sale is only currently available to Concierge, but from the 11th, it will be available to everyone. But please tell me what you think about the Hercules down below. I think most of us can agree that the A2 is overpriced, but what do you think of its role in the verse? Would you get one if it was cheaper? Do you think that the C2 is perfectly fine and that's probably one to go for anyway because it's got more space for vehicles and that should be its focused role anyway? Would you only get ships in-game other than your starter package, and you think that these sort of sales are meh? Do you hope, like me, that the base, ground and air gameplay altogether is going to be good, as they're making ships specifically suited to it? Every month we have a ship giveaway. This time for May, it's for a Tonkin Turtle, the Tumbrel Nova tank, and a Terrapin, donated by our spotlighted org, the Talons Outer Haven. They are a prominent Star Citizen roleplay organisation that is focused on exploration and kinship, as well as player character-driven lore. They also have their own roleplay-related internet radio station, which is a real radio station which you can listen to, which is called Radio Free Outer Haven. They are recruiting for those interested in roleplay and want to participate in the alpha testing and development of Star Citizen. Links below to their org and radio station. They are incredibly friendly. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that ship and vehicle bundle is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and then comment on any of my May YouTube videos throughout the month. Each video gives you another chance to win. For more information on anything we talked about, check the links down below. A special thank you to my Patreons and donators. Your support allows me to create the amount of focused content I do. Again, links to further support the channel are down below as well. Please remember to like and subscribe as it really does help me, as does your feedback. Please take care, guys, and I'll see you in the verse.